So I'm just gonna show a quick tutorial on how you can sort of cut out an image to use as a composite for a render, for instance. So I've got two images here. Let's see. So I've got this and that, and this would be our base image. So I'm just gonna drag that into Photoshop, and it's gonna place it. And you would notice that that's a background and it's locked. Now that's not an editable layer, so you have to convert that to an editable layer for you to be able to do anything with this. So let's double click on that and click OK, and now it's a layer you can work with. I'm gonna import the second image. Let's drag and drag, press enter, and now you'd notice that it has that little icon at the corner there, and this doesn't have it. So again, that's it's not entirely editable. It's a smart object, and a smart object means when you adjust, when you change the size of that object. So if I were to squeeze, just make this object smaller, if I pressed Ctrl T and I reduce the size of that image, and then yeah, so a smart object basically retains the quality of the image when you reduce it or increase it. As long as it remains a smart object, the quality of the image remains the same. But for you to do anything with this image, for instance, if you wanted to erase that image, it wouldn't allow you to erase it, because it has to be rasterized for you to do anything. And to do that, just right click on the image and rasterize layer. Good. Now it makes it a layer that you can actually work with. So we're just going to cut out this red thingy from the white background, and we're going to place it on that table there. So there are so many ways to do this. A first and easy way to do this is to say use a blend mode, and let's try a multiply. So if you use the multiply, it basically takes away every white, and it gives you, and that's only when you have a white background, and it gives you an image that sort of no longer has a white background. But then you notice that your image also becomes, in a sense, transparent. So if I again used Ctrl T to bring out the transformation box, and let's just say this was like a headlamp, a pendant lamp. So I'm just going to replace the original pendant lamp in the image. Yeah, just gonna let this hang off that wire, so you can see that it kind of works. But let's say that doesn't work for you. Another way to cut that image out of the background is to use a lasso tool. Okay, so just use a polygonal lasso. You can zoom in and actually draw around the edge. I mean, of course this takes a longer time, but like when you have images that are not as simple as white and red, like a white background and a red image, if you had like a person in, like, I don't know, a party or something, like this might just be the only way to cut out that image. So let's just say you did that. I'm not gonna cut out the full image, I'm just gonna cut out a chunk, and I'm gonna do a very rough pass, but you can like just totally take your time and do it well. Let's just draw out that and then draw that way. And press enter, and that closes it for you. So if I deleted that white chunk, you can see I'm beginning to have a clean edge around my object. So that's another way to do it. Another way is to use the eraser tool. So just select the eraser. I usually prefer to use this tool because it gives me a lot of control as to how I want the edge to feel. So with the eraser tool, I just right click and I can set the brush to a soft one. I can set the size of the brush, so that's too big. I'm gonna reduce it again. So remember, just right click to get that option. I'm gonna reduce it again. Yeah, so even more. Okay, so that's good. So now I'm gonna just click, and when I click, I'm gonna hold down shift and click. And what that does is when you click and hold down shift, it connects the first point to the second point automatically. So if I were to click and just click, it's just gonna give me a dot. But if I click the first point and hold shift and I kept clicking, it's just gonna like sort of draw or follow a path, I think. Yeah, more like that. So yeah, so you could use that method to just like clean around the edges. So again, all of these methods like work for different things. You know, if you're trying to achieve something different, I'm just gonna reduce that brush size so I can be more precise with my trimming. So that has like a really soft edge. So when you're cutting out some images, that's like very useful. I'm just gonna undo all of that. So that's another way to do it. Another method is to use your quick selection tool or magic wand. So with the quick selection tool, what it allows you to do is it selects your object based on a color. So if you use a quick selection tool, you can set the so you can set the parameters of your brush, so like the spacing, the hardness, and all of that. So just select the white part and like it just automatically selects like the white edge. Sometimes this could be very annoying, but most of the time it works, especially when your image is quite simple. So select that and just delete, and then you have that. But what it does sometimes is it gives you this white edge around your image, which I don't know, is not usually nice sometimes. Okay, so the other one is the magic wand. It works basically the same way. You can set a tolerance to that. So if you clicked with the tolerance of 32, so those places are not selected. If we change the tolerance, let's make it 74, and we clicked again, you see that it's a lot more precise, and it actually begins to eat into the red. That's better for me, at least. And so if I deleted that, that's a much more cleaner cut. So it's so much more cleaner than using the quick selection tool. Yeah. So personally, I'd rather use the magic wand, but then again, it only works when your image is like a really simple, like contrast, like say white and black or white and red, or like something that is like very visibly contrasting. So a final way to do it that I would like to show you is to go to your select. So make sure you're on that layer that you want to cut out, then go to select and say color range, and then just use your eyedropper to pick the color. Okay, and then again you can play with the fuzziness, and if you look at this image, the higher you go, the more white it selects, and the lower you go, the less white it selects. So you want to go high enough that, and you don't need to worry about the image at the background. It's not going to touch that. It's just going to select stuff from here and cut stuff from there, from the layer you actually have selected. So you want to make sure you're not so high where like it begins to cut away from the actual object, the actual, like, you know, image that you're trying to preserve. You want to be somewhere around here, I guess. Depends on the image. This seems fine to me, so I'm gonna click OK. And again, you see it's like a really clean edge around, so I'm just gonna delete, and I'm gonna press Ctrl D to deselect, and it works almost just like the magic wand. Again, it depends on where you're trying to cut and convenience of cutting stuff. So that's an easy way to cut stuff. So if that was your object you rendered and you wanted to cut the background, you can do that. Ctrl T, I'm going to resize that, and actually, you know, put that as my new pendant, and there you go. And you can just, you know, cut stuff like that, and you can play around with blend modes and see what you get, you know, different effects. Anyway, so that's all about cutting out an object, or cutting out a specific object from an image.